Hello and welcome to my presentation on behalf of Harris Mazda. My name is Jeffrey MacDonald. Thank you for tuning in. There I am smiling at you in the bottom left corner for reference. I'm going to show you a presentation on the 2013 Mazda GS Sky Sport versus the 2013 Volkswagen Golf Comfort Line versus the 2013 Ford Focus SE. Now I'd like you to meet three friends. We're going to keep this on a personal level here. First of which is Ahmed. Second is Dan, and third is John. They all dress the same, they work at the same place, and they all live in the same condo building. So the variables are all very consistent here. But where they differ from one another is they chose different cars. It is my job to show you a few things, to educate your minds, why they chose what they drive, who made a smart choice, and who made a poor choice. The following is a side-by-side comparison that will show you the difference in owning these vehicles and the financial outcome of each. Let's have a look at what they chose. Ahmed chose the 2013 Volkswagen Golf Comfort Line. There he is in the bottom right corner there. This is the widest and tallest car, but has the least front legroom and rear shoulder room of all three vehicles. However, this is not a bother to Ahmed because he is so small. Ahmed likes to drive fast, so he picked the biggest engine, which has 2.5 liters and 5 cylinders. This model has no extra charge for white, and that was a deciding factor for him. The connectivity package was also purchased to give Ahmed Bluetooth and media device interface for his dance music. After all, he is a car dancer. So here are some specs on the 2013 Volkswagen Golf Comfort Line, the MSRP, the engine, transmission, and horsepower, just as a reference there. The fuel economy of which 9.9 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, and 6.2 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. Dan chose the 2013 Ford Focus SE. There he is, standing next to his car. Being the penny pincher that he is, Dan decided to get the 2013 Ford Focus SE. He was drawn to the lowest price tag with the most diverse media option. However, after he purchased the media options and got the trim he wanted, he ended up spending more than what the Mazda 3 cost. So here on the left are some more specs on the 2013 Ford Focus SE. The fuel economy information is 7.8 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. John chose the 2013 Mazda 3 GS Sky Sport. There he is, being all proud beside his Mazda 3. Despite having a huge yet level head on his shoulders, John went with a sporty and fuel-efficient option of the Mazda 3 Sport. John likes things simple, effective, which the Mazda 3 flaunts in the best of ways. The easy on the eyes dash, quiet and fuel economy ride, the most front leg room, and the largest total passenger volume add to the beautiful simplicity of the Mazda 3 Sport. Now here are some basic specs on the Mazda 3 as well, with the MSRP, the horsepower, engine, transmission. The fuel economy information, 7.6 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 5.1 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. Now we can tell by this point that the Mazda 3 does in fact have the best highway and city fuel mileage. Since the three friends have the same driving habits, it's easy to see the difference between the three cars. So let's start by having a look at the fuel efficiency between the three. Now, Reader's Digest states that the average distance to work in large population cities are as follows. Toronto is 18.2 kilometers, Montreal is 16.2 kilometers, and Calgary is 16.4 kilometers. Gives us an average of 16.9 kilometers, which is convenient because our buddies are exactly 16.9 kilometers round trip from work. Let's take a look at what 1 year of driving looks like based on a 50-week work year. We're taking 2 weeks off for summer vacation. Oh yes, our friends also take the exact same 2-week vacation, which we'll have a look at later. So here I stacked the three cars side by side, with the 2013 Volkswagen Comfort Line, the 2013 Ford Focus SE, and the 2013 Mazda 3 GS Sky Sport. So what I'll do is I'll just show you here, dropping down the fuel economy for the city for each vehicle, based on the 16.9 kilometer distance to work. So you can follow my math all the way down and see how it breaks down into fuel use per week, and then fuel use over 1 year, with Mazda 3 Sport coming out on top at $384, the Ford Focus $396, and the Volkswagen Golf Comfort Line at a whopping $501. All fuel prices here are based on $1.20 per liter. It's vacation time. It is time to see how the highway fuel mileage comes into play, especially with a 2-week vacation. This vacation takes our friends on the highway for 2,200 kilometers. Once at their destination, they averaged about 40 kilometers per day, seeing the sights and stopping for snacks. Now here are all three vehicles side by side again based on $1.20 per liter in gas. So we break down the highway fuel mileage for each car and break down the math. So we can see how the fuel savings pan up for all that highway mileage, and then we'll add it to this to the totals from the previous slide for the 50-week work year of driving. So our 1 year fuel costs for just work and that one vacation, Volkswagen Comfortline finishes dead last at $712.20. The Ford Focus finishes at $578.64, and the Mazda 3 comes out on top with $555.12. So it's not hard to see where the fuel savings come in the strongest. On top of fuel costs, though, there are maintenance costs. The Mazda, woo, there we are right there, and the Ford have timing chains. Timing chains are lifetime parts. They do not need to be replaced at regular intervals. The Volkswagen, though, has a timing belt. Okay, boom, there's an explosion right there. That's an $800 bill after every 100,000 kilometers. Now look who's really expensive. Okay, here's a hint. Since it looks like the Volkswagen is a solid investment of money, the Mazda and the Ford seem to be a much better investment of money. After 5 years on 100,000 kilometers of driving, the driving expenses look like this. We have the Mazda, the Volkswagen, and the Ford. The Mazda, $555.12, times 5 gives us $27.75 and 60 cents. The Ford at $578.64, times 5 is $28.93 and 20 cents. The Volkswagen at $712.20, times 5 is $35.61. There's our little explosion again. Timing belt went. $800. There's our little explosion again. An $800 timing belt bill brings the Volkswagen to $43.93 and 20 cents. So how does Mazda stand out from Ford? We stand out with awards. These are just a few examples of reviews from very reputable people and companies. Okay, we have the CarConnection.com, Wall Street Journal, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the New York Times, and Auto Bytel, which puts the Mazda 3 against a lot of our competition out there. So it's very easy to see where we come out on top there. And like I said, these are only some awards. So at the end of the day, this is how our drivers look. We have Ahmed, who is broke. His Volkswagen ended up costing him way more than he thought it would. He ended up having to work on Saturdays on top of his 5-day work week to pay for all costs associated with his golf. He almost dropped out of the cycle of friends because he was always working. Dan is unfulfilled. Dan has a less glamorous car than he would have preferred. The audio system he purchased gives him no better music than the system in the Mazda. He tried to brag about the car at work, but nobody really cared. John has time off. He saved so much fuel and money on his Mazda 3 purchase that he decided to work half days on Fridays and enjoy some quality time off while his two other friends worked. There's his Lay's chips, his Nintendo, and his couch. My name is Jeffrey McDonald, and thanks for watching.